Hey, this is the Spaniard, and you're listening to Me, Myself, and I Radio.
Part 2. Who would win in a mixed martial arts competition, him or me? Our predictions. Good morning, good afternoon, hip hip hooray. This is Me, Myself, and I Radio, a self-discovery podcast. It's all about being extraordinary under extraordinary circumstances. I'm your host, Anthony Hayes. Welcome to the journey called life. Let's go.
Sometimes in life, things can come across as rather odd or often peculiar, a little like the way that you decide to tune into other radio stations other than ours.
So hard last night, my lids are swollen. Got my guitar, gotta get to a studio. Got a track and I think it's gonna hit, yo. It's been so many years and there's been so many tears, and it's gonna be well worth the pain, see, when all my people line up to see me. Cause I got no money, got no home, got no girl to call my own, but I keep smiling.
Yeah, just looking back and re-skimming through your book, because I do have that. I guess really until I got on with you today, I didn't realize how much we did have in common. Well, I guess I did and I didn't. But re-exploring those instances and things. I actually wrestled in high school too.
Nice.
I did train in mixed martial arts. I have been a martial arts student for 20 years. So just all of these things, and knowing that I believe we do share a lot of similarities, a lot of that warrior mindset, that self-discipline that's instilled in us in our training and in the dojo and on the mat and in the ring. That mindset alone right there that's a different element of being a human being. I think few have been able to experience. And it is by far one of the biggest life skills that I've come to possess, and I'm sure you can definitely. You're, I know, on a completely different level. I'm not comparing myself to you, although we did have a listener email, Spaniard. They want to know, who do you think would win in a fight, you or me? Who are you taking in that match?
I'm sorry that I'm laughing. I bet on myself all the time.
What are you weighing in it right now?
What I weigh this morning, 173.2 or 8, I think. I weigh myself every morning.
Okay, I put my money on the Spaniard. Thank you, listener, for that question. I had to. Oh man, that's fantastic, man. Just the level of expertise you must possess, and, is phenomenal.
To touch on what you were saying, it occurred to you today, hey, I have a lot in common with this guy. But part of my, I don't want to say appeal, because that sounds kind of weird, but part of my MO is, hey, normal people, you can be extraordinary, because I am a normal person. I'm a normal person who busts their butt more than 99.9% of the world. That's it. That's the difference. That's it. My parents are middle class. I am middle class. I am 5'10", 170 pounds. I don't possess any gifts other than hard work. Mm-hmm. And that hard work builds those gifts. So, part of the my avatar is normal person listening. You want to be extraordinary. I'll teach you how. That's kind of it. That's kind of my message.
Yeah. That's funny. You've used so many words that describe the message of our show here, and I know the listeners. When we open up the show, I say, being extraordinary under extraordinary circumstances. That's the message exactly. that we're promoting here. And listener, if you're just tuning in, we're with the Spaniard here. and all his information, his bio. We're gonna have great links. We're gonna pull some awesome quotes from this conversation, because it's starting to get heavy here. We're exploring the me, myself, and I elements. We're going backwards in time, and we're just rolling along here. So we're cruising through myself. And when I say me, myself, and I, as everybody knows, this is our past, present, and future selves. So me, myself, and I being current day or your future, myself being your evolution and through the middle, and then my being your where you got everything started. So we're touching along on all this. I think everybody is really soaking this in. This is fantastic. Your mixed martial arts career, the mental toughness, the physical toughness that you've had to endure with that. Take me through. I mean, all right, let me put it to you this way. If you could put into words, or maybe a set of emotions, for instance, what is going through your mind when, let's say, you step foot on the mat, or you step foot in the cage, or into that arena, that Spartan-esque battle that you're about to endure? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it excitement? Is it a combination of all these things?
Yeah, for sure. And it's very, this is probably not the answer that you or anyone else is expecting or anything, but whenever, and I speak to the UFC because that's the biggest platform there is, and that's the most kind of real as it gets, that's it. And whenever I would get into the octagon and they would close the door and I'd be locked in a cage in an arena, much like fighting like a gladiator in the Coliseum, I would think to myself, what in the heck did I do to put myself right here, right now? And those pretty much exact words went through my head every single time I fought. And then, as soon as that was in my mind, the ref is saying, you ready, fight. And then it's boom, nothing but complete instinct and go.
Are you so zoned in, competing at these levels? Are you so zoned in to the science of fighting and the angles and the, your opponent, that do you drown out everything else? Do you not hear the crowd? Like what is that like?
That's an interesting question because, it's funny. The more zoned in to the precision and technical, I want to say, or strategy I got, the worse I got. And it's very weird. Wow. That's a very weird thing to say, but here's how I equate it. So there's a couple ways to go about it. And the way I went about it, and my teammate Jim Miller is very similar. I believe I go every day. I train as hard as I possibly can. This is refighting, and honestly, this is present day. I train such that when it's time to perform, I can essentially turn my brain off and go. Because yes. When my brain is turned on during competition, I start thinking, and I don't do well when I start thinking. I do better when it's bust your butt, prepare, take it to another level, et cetera, and then when it's time to go, just shut up, Charlie. That's literally it. Just shut up and perform. And then that instinct is trained instinct, and it's not like blind faith where you just sit on the couch and then you say go fight. No, it's prepared faith. It's belief. It's prepared belief.
I love that. That's a golden nugget. I don't think a lot of people were expecting. So that's definitely awesome to be able to get into that fighter's mindset, because most people can't even fathom the thought process, and to be able to word it like that, I think people can really relate to it. And just know that whatever your fight is going on, whether it's physical or mental, there's a way through it. There's a mindset that you can learn. This isn't something you just wake up with. This is developed over time. and, making those good habits and something. This is something you have to work at. And I tell people that all the time. It takes 28 days to break or start a new habit. So whatever you want to do tomorrow, you have to start today. You can't put these things off. If you want to train, if you want to prepare your mind for the next journey, for the next fight, if you will, that's learned. That's an ever evolving process. That's never going to stop. And any period in your life, no matter what you do, whether it's teaching, whether it's fighting, speaking, podcasting, being a father, so many great things that we've talked about today. This is a lifelong journey.
It is, and it's very trained. That's a good way to put it, because you grow up. So everyone think back to elementary, probably middle and high school. Perfect. And you say that kid's tough. That kid was so tough in high school. And then what I learned in being a professional fighter is there is no tough and not tough. There is trained and not trained. Tough is a mystique. Tough is an adjective. Tough is nothing. You're not tough. Are you trained? Do you know how to fight? Do you know how to do your job? And whenever you are, I don't care how big someone is. They may be 350 pounds. If they're not trained, yeah, I'll fight them. I'll kick their butt. But if you're a 350-pound trained guy, then that's a little bit of a different story, So in whatever avenue you're in your life, don't think like good or bad or tough or not tough. Think trained. Am I trained? Am I competent? And from there, you'll start to realize the different actions, thoughts, habits that it takes to get to that point.
Yes, absolutely. I was right before we got on, I was just glancing over your book here, Driven: My Unlikely Journey from Classroom to Cage. And I love the back, Justin from
Greskowitz.
Greskowitz from Stay Fly Muay Thai, the owner and trainer, says that Charlie is nothing short of a superhero. And then at the end of it, I'm sure he is an alien. I can't stop reading that and just thinking to myself, that is probably the most I'm sure he is alien. To me, that is like the ultimate compliment. I know it sounds really weird, and people reading it are probably, some people immediately like, well, what? But I totally see the irony in that and the wording of that. I think that's so awesome. I love that line. And
that there's such a paradox there, because yes, what he's saying is that, but at the same time, I'm the farthest thing from an alien. I'm the most normal, I'm the most normal person ever, who has their doubts and has their this and their that, but I overcome it by working. That's it. It's the hard work. It's you can't, I've not dealt with, for example, I've never dealt with depression. I've never dealt with, serious clinical issues, but I know that the things I've dealt with, which is lack of self-confidence, that it was conquered by work. It was conquered by surrounding myself with the right people, the right influences, and accepting that just do, just do. Sometimes think, sometimes whatever, but at the end of the day, just do. And then that doing overshadows that lack of self-confidence or that fear or that courage that you don't have. It's the action that's the most important part.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah, I used podcasting as a way to combat my own personal fears, to combat the depression, because it's so unhealthy to not talk about things. And I've been utilizing this as an outlet to have that, take that leap of faith, to walk that line of fear, to, reach out to guests such as yourself, and to really, to learn, to really learn what it takes to be the best, and to let our audience know that no matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing, we all have something to learn from each other. We're all in this fight together. And the more knowledge that you soak in, the more people you talk to, the more books you read, you're just going to be so much more powerful in everything that you do in life. I'm going to have so much stuff to quote you on from this.
Good.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. Little backstory here. A dad's group that we're involved in. We kind of connected through a great avenue of this podcast. It's weird. Everything comes back to podcasting lately. So I was listening to the Good Dad Project by a great friend, Larry Hagner, who I've had on the show. And I was listening, and upcoming guest, the Spaniard. I'm not just like, what? And I tuned in, and then I saw all the great things that you were up to, and I'm like, I have to talk to this Spaniard to see what, this different level of consciousness.
And, that almost sounds foreign to me, like this different, I don't remember the exact word you said, this different mindset or this next level. And really it's like, I'm thinking, wow, who's he talking about? Because at the end of the day, it's just having a passion and working hard. That's it. Like, that's the magic formula for success.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, deep down, they want to be passionate. They want to pursue their dreams, but they fear that, they're so worried about getting to the next paycheck. And they think that, if I can't do this full time, then I have to just forget about it altogether. And I always tell people, no matter what you're doing, is don't stop doing it. If you could do it 1 hour a week, if you could do it 10 hours a week, whatever it is, that's something you're passionate about. And that's what you've been doing all along. That's that fear you've been personally conquering, and you can't stop pursuing those dreams and those passions, because that's when you stop living, really. We're wrapping up the Me, Myself, and I elements with the Spaniard here today. We're going to ask the Spaniard some recommended resources, books, websites. What's something you could recommend to a listener that might help them in their self-discovery process?
Well, first, I would suggest going to charlie-brenneman.com. My website hosts everything I do. If there's one book, if there's one action item I'd recommend you to do, it's go to Amazon, purchase my book. You will resonate with it. If you're a driven individual, you'll resonate with the story. And from there, I have all kinds of content that I personally distribute on a weekly basis. My podcast, The Fighter's Mindset, the Spaniard podcast. And to recommend, let's say, 2 other books outside of mine that I would recommend reading, and there's so many. And actually, if you go to my website, I have a reading list there. But
cool.
I would recommend reading Extreme Ownership. Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink is all about doing just that, taking extreme ownership in every single thing you do in your life, not blaming anyone for anything, and being the foundation of your life. And then another neat one that I love, it's a fun read. It's a fiction, parable type book, but it's called The Alchemist. And those 2 books is what I'd recommend.
Awesome.
So all my social media, again, is accessible from my website. So all that stuff is there.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have links to that and much more in the blog and in the show notes. And let's give them the last element today here, Spaniard. What would you tell your 21-year-old self?
Man, I'd slap him across the face. No, I would say, stop thinking you know everything, because you certainly don't. And open your mind up to the possibility that you're going to continue living until your last breath on earth. Continue learning until your last breath on earth.
Fantastic. Oh, Spaniard, man. We had so much great stuff here today. It was such a pleasure to be here with you. I know everybody's going to soak this in. They're going to have a lot of stuff to decompress from this fantastic conversation we had here. I want to thank you for your time. Listeners, this has been Me, Myself, and I Radio. I'm here with the Spaniard. And as always, at the end of every show, we urge you to control the controllable. As for the rest, keep on flowing and just be. Hey, listener, if you get a quick second and you want to head over to memyselfandiradio.com/support, there's some really cool ways to support the show. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, at the end of every show, I'd like to encourage you. Control the controllable. As for the rest, keep on flowing and just be. This has been Me, Myself, and I. Thanks for tuning in.